Hi everyone, I think it's the time to introduce you to KitQL, SvelteKit and GraphQL together. So it's a set of tools to help you develop a fast application. I used actually in the past Apollo and GraphQL. They're great libraries, but in the end, GraphQL is what? It's just a post, right? So let's see what we can build with the native implementation on SvelteKit. And to do so, we will build together the KitQL demo application to see the in-depth how we do this. To do so, I will simply go to the SvelteKit website and I will create a completely new repository. So I come here and I will create my KitQL Demo 1 application. This one will be a skeleton project and I will say yes to everything else. I will then reopen this into my editor, VS Code. Perfect. So here at the beginning, I will do a yarn to be able to install everything and make sure everything is working. Oh, I have a node version issue. So let's see. I'm using a tool called Volta. When you add Volta in your package.json, it will grab automatically the right node version and use it right away. It will go away from this error. Perfect. I think we can go further. Now when I do yarn dev, website is ready. Welcome to SvelteKit. Perfect. Let's change this and welcome to KitQL. Can maybe remove this. If I hit save, perfect. Welcome to KitQL. So now let's go to the KitQL library. To do so, I go on the GitHub, and what we will build is the demo app. From here, you will be able to directly download the app and play with it. But here, I want to follow the KitQL all-in guide, the easy guide. So first thing first, you need to add the KitQL all-in, which include all the packages directly, and GraphQL. So let's add them here. Let's hope that my internet connection is still good and will install everything. While it's installing, let's see with what API we will play. Very simple one in the public GraphQL API to be able to list continent and countries. So if I hit run here, I can see all the country and the continent, and inside I can see the countries. Well, we will go deeper into it. And to be able to do code gen on this and have nice tooling inside VS Code, I need the schema of this. And I would like to have it offline. So basically, usually what I do is that I come here, I hit F5, and I'm able to see exactly the introspection schema here. And this, so he finished to install everything. This I will add a new folder, lib for the library, GraphQL, and I will add a new file, schema.json. And I will paste what I just copied from the website there. Very good. Now let's go back here and let's see the different steps. First thing, we need to create a GraphQL RC YAML file. This is for CodeGen. I will put in the description the CodeGen website. Great website around GraphQL made by the guild. So I will simply do what was asked. Created this file. And there's a link of an existing file. Let's open it here. Let's grab everything and put it in our environment here. I will put it in big so that we can see what's going on there. Let's see. So we have a schema. So it's our, schema.json. Then they will look at all the documents which are ending by GQL. Okay. There's an extension to be able to directly query the endpoint. I will show you also. And then the CodeGen part that will generate the GraphQL type.ts with all these plugins, and the GraphQL stores with the KitQL CodeGen plugin. Okay, and from this file we will import all the types from the file generated just on top. All right, let's see if we can create a new file. So I can exit it here. I will copy this one and I will create this file get continent.gql, enter, and I will paste everything here. And here, if I come, and you can see that if I do control space, I have completion. Why do I have completion? It's thanks to this file, and then this file knows the schema with this line. Then he's able to introspect and give me IntelliSense. Not alone, of course. He needs to have this this one installed. Sorry, it's in big. I don't recognize everything without the icons. So you need to have the GraphQL server extension. Okay, and when you have this, you're able to do this auto completion. Really cool. When you have this as well, you have the execute query on top here, and if I click on it, it will execute the query directly in the VS Code environment. And this is also due to this file where I enter this extension endpoint default, so he will query all my GQL operation against this endpoint. Very convenient as well. The idea now is to get this list of continents here in the index here. To do so, I just created this this file to generate. Now I need to add a script to do this generation. Okay, so to do this, I come here and I will do a script called gen for generate. And I never know the syntax, so let me just go on the here, and I will just copy what is in the README in KitQL. So gen, we will launch CodeGen, and we will target the config file we just created. Okay, done. Now if I do yarn gen, enter, he managed to parse the configuration, and he put everything in what I called underscore KitQL, where I have first all the types. Okay, everything is good, and all the stores. Here we can see get continent query and get continent store. I will go to this just after. You can see that he's trying to get a KitQL client from a file just beside. And this we need to create it is to initialize the KitQL client. So we'll create a new file, KitQL client, and I will create this guy. So export const what he was looking for, KitQL, KitQL client. We'll initialize him. I will create the KitQL client, which is a new KitQL client, perfect, and I will initialize some stuff there. We need to import this from our library. Sorry, KitQL client. Why don't? No, I don't want to change the spelling. So let's import it manually. Import this from. It's not helping me. KitQL /client. Okay. So now we have this, and we can set multiple things. First of all, the URL. Where is our GraphQL? So let's go back here. It was this. Okay. Then we have different options. Credential, if you want to do include and everything, but it's not the case today here. We have a default value for the cache. By default, we will cache everything for, so it's in milliseconds, everything for 6 times 3 minutes. Okay. This is the default, you don't need to specify it, but it's just to show you. The header content type, there is a new way to do this, so it's GraphQL plus JSON, but I saw that this one is only a JSON one. And then some log types. I will put logs today so that we are able to see a few things. I will put log on the server, I would like to put log on the client, and I would like to put log with operation and variables. Okay. Now we have everything set up, no red, seems good. So if I yarn gen a second time to see, everything is passing. If I yarn dev now, everything is still right. And if I come back to my website, welcome to KitQL. So now here in my index here, I would like to do a script, and I want to do a get. You see, I already have the IntelliSense. So I would like to do a get continent query, which is to query all the continent. Okay, and I will have to do this in a onMount. We will go into a lot of steps after. Huh? So we'll do this. I think very good. So now we have our get continent query. This is actually doing the query. Let's open the pan here and do a F5. So a lot of stuff we are in development, of course. But if I look for GraphQL, yes, there is a GraphQL, and he's looking for continent. And actually, so sorry, payload. So get continent, and the preview, he's getting data, and we see the list of continents. Great. So we are able then to, so this query, if you hover it, we'll be able to see that it's filling the get continent query store. So if I come back here now and I go like this and do $ and the store, I import the store, I should have something directly available here. So what I will do is that I will do JSON and stringify and hit F5, and you see on the left it's coming. So status, it's done. There is a date apparently. there is no variable, it's coming from the cache, and we can see some data. Okay, let's go a bit into a deep dive into this. Okay, if I hit F5, as you can see here, it's coming from the network. Very good. I was a bit surprised that it was coming from the cache. And in the log here, we are able to see KitQuery client coming from the cache, get continent query, and no variable are passed because here we don't need variables. Okay. Okay, let's continue the exercise. Now we did on an on mount, we did a get continent query. So here we are fully client side. Let's make use of the server side rendering. To do server side rendering, we need to put another script tag, sorry. So this script tag needs a context to be module. And this is a special thing, right? And here I'm able to create a load function. I even have some code coming directly here. So it's just to get the load actually, all the rest we don't care. So I will remove all this and I will remove all this. So we have now here our load function. I'll also remove this one. And you need to return something. So I will return something empty for now, and our website should still continue to work, right? Yes, we can see loading and done, loading and done. The thing is now I want to get benefit of the server-side rendering. To do so, I will just copy this and put it here. And I will just do here a save and F5. Oh, and you can see that we have an error. Why do we have an error? And it's telling you exactly why you probably have an error. You forgot to give fetch to this. So you are in the server and you didn't give the fetch from SvelteKit. This is a mistake. So you should provide fetch. And if you provide fetch here, you save, you come back here and hit F5. So here we have something. So it's in status done and it's coming from the cache. And actually it's coming from the server-side rendering and then from the cache. Because here it's doing from the server-side rendering. And then here, since he already know it, then he's taking it from the cache. So if I comment this one, and if I come back here and hit F5, it's only server-side rendered and coming here. So you could keep the mistake, not the mistake, but having it here and having the server-side rendering, no problem. First time it's going from the server side, second time is from the cache. So with this, we're able to create components and to compose our application. And this is the main benefit. So let's see now that we can compose our application and do the query about where we want. And sometimes it will be server-side rendered, sometimes it will be from the cache directly. So it's fully transparent for your client-side application. So I come here and I will create a new folder, comp, and I will create a component, continent component. So continent dot svelte. And here I will just take this code, put it here. I will import the store. Okay, done. And I will grab this for now and put it here. Of course, I need the onMount, and of course, I need to get the query to make sure we have some data. And we can remove then all this. And we can also remove here. Let's add now the continents here. And see on the website. Yes, perfect. All the data are coming here. So we have still the server side and the cache one. All right. Now we could even remove here the onMount. And since the store is still provided from the root, we still have the server side rendered. Perfect. So let's do a bit of UI here. So we'll do a small list and we'll generate each. Don't know why I don't get the IntelliSense. Oh, okay, the list is here. So now if I grab this, and put continent here, I will put a line. Very good. Close here the bracket and continent dot. Okay, I have an IntelliSense and I can put my name here. So now if I come back here, great, I have my list of of continent coming here. Great. So I can get rid of this. And actually on top here, I can display maybe, very good, I even have the IntelliSense here, perfect. And I can display from, to know from where it's coming from. I can display the status, and I can display maybe the date. Sorry, I will take this, I will do a new date of this. Very good. So it's coming from the server side, it's done, and it's coming from this date. I can do most probably .to ISO string. Very good. And let's do div another div. Very good. So server side rendered, it's done, it's finished, and it's coming from this time. So now let's go to the network and add. No, let's add first a button. Let's do a button fetch on click. We'll do a function called grab to grab the new data. And here I do function grab, and you know what I'm doing here. So I will simply get this, right? Async function grab. If I save this, I have a fetch, and when I click on fetch, it's doing some request, but to the cache only. Okay, so there is no request coming in the network tab, and only from the cache. What if we want to remove the cache and get the data directly from the server? So grab force, let's say, or without cache. I come here and I put the settings with not force true, with cache to 0. Okay, 0 millisecond. Let's go get the data directly. So we create a second button, fetch force, and we call our function fetch force. And if we come here, okay, we can see loading, it's coming from the network, and we can see the time is updated. We can see also the request is coming here. So if I clean here, fetch force will grab the new data. Okay, and if I come here, it's coming from the cache. Okay, very good. We're able to do one query. Now let's go and do a second query. And to do so, I would like to create a second get continent GQL. And for this, I want to show you that we can refresh our stores automatically when there is a new file coming. To do so, I need to go to the Svelte config file. I will go and grab the config in here in the example of KitQL. So I go to the main place in the Vite plugin section. In the Vite plugin section in Kit, we need to add a plugin called Watch and Run. So let's copy this and have it here. So in the Kit section, I have my Vite plugin. It's a plugin called Watch and Run. It will watch all the GQL and GraphQL file and run yarn-gen. Okay, very simple. Just we need to import this watch and run. This watch and run. Oh, for sure it's not coming from here. It's coming from Vite watch and run. So this is working. Okay. So now it's not get continents, but it's get continent. Okay. And each time I do a change here, my files are updated. Okay. And we know here that the plugin finished successfully. Yes, it finished successfully. Now let's see here if we can get continent. Okay. And get continent, we want to go and grab continent directly. You can see that we have underline here because we need a code which require an ID. So we have all this inside VS Code directly. I can put a code here, and the code will be $code because I will have a variable, and this variable is coming from here, $code, and its type, we saw it just before, it's type ID. Okay, perfect. And the code will be coming from, we can see, we saw it just before, that there is a, oops. So when I save, everything is successful, very good. So that means that we have our new stores. Let's go back to our continent. You remember that here we are able to get the name, but we are able also to get the code. So let's go on and put it just beside. I save this. So So here we have the name and the code directly. So the point here is that we will add just something this side. We will add a button and we get countries. Very good. We have a button now on each line, and on the get countries, we'll do a on click. We'll grab the countries. So the countries of which code. So now I will come and put the continent code. Of course, this function is not there yet, so let's put it in big. And let's do a async function get countries. We'll add the code here of type string. Oops, I didn't specify that the length here was TS. Very good. And now we can do a get country. Let's only get continent, sorry. So let's go back here. Yes, I put a get continent to get all. Actually, it's quite wrong here. So here we will get the continent, but what I want to get is actually the countries, right? And the countries I want to get the code. Yes, there is a code, and there is also a name. Very good. But here I will name it get countries. I will save here. Okay. And now I should be able to see, yes, control space, get countries query. In the get countries query, I need to pass, you see, variables, okay? And in the variables, I need to pass a code. Very good. And the code is given here. Perfect. So I wait here, sorry, I wait here, and I will hit save. And now if I do click here, I see that there is a GraphQL request coming, and data, continent, countries. Very good. We can see the list of all the countries. So let's display this. No, we'll just do it just at the bottom here. We'll do a new like this. So with convention, it's just adding store at the end. I autocomplete, perfect. And here it doesn't know continent. What does he know? Don't know why I have to fix this. Oh, it's continent. We get a lot of countries, and here it's country. Very good. And I want to display the country name. Perfect. So now we're able to go on the different list. And as you saw at the beginning, it was coming from the network. And now it's coming from the cache because we already grabbed this data. Okay, so if I go switch from one to the other, it's coming from the cache, even if the code is changing. Okay, quite great. But now if we hit F5 here, there is no continent here. So of course, no continent. Why there is no continent? It's because we never grab a code. Okay, so for this multiple options, first we can add the chaining. I think it's a bit better already like this. Okay, and if there is nothing, let's add an empty array. Okay, at least we have the data coming here. But what would be nice is that if maybe we could remember directly in the page on what country were selected. Okay, so let's add, for example, here at the beginning the country selected, which was something like the continent selected. Sorry, something like continent dot name, right? So we have Asia coming here. So we'll do it H3. Okay, perfect. So we have Asia selected, and maybe we want to give the URL maybe for a colleague, and he will grab it from server-side rendering. Okay, and to do so, we are in a component, so we don't have access to the fetch coming from the load function. So what we need to do is somehow to go to another query string, because we can get the query string. So if I do, for example, go to here, It's a SvelteKit function. Okay, I grab it, yes. And if I go to, I will go slash and I will put focus equals to, I don't remember the names, so let's take AS, it's one code, AS. I save, and now if I go like this, yes, you can see focus AS, but of course I don't want to do a full slash, I want to do only question mark, right? Question mark focus, okay. And now I want not to put directly AS, but I want to put the code all the time. So I will grow like this, $sign font and code, save it. And now when I change here, it's changing the list at the bottom, but it's changing also the query string, which is nice. So now as we have it as a query string, if we go now to the index here, let's see, no, I don't need to copy this yet, but if here I come and I will log the URL dot, so it's URL dot search params dot get, and like this we can get the focus query string. So let's see if I hit F5 and I refresh here, we can see URL.oc. We can see it here as well, URL.oc. Why? Because the load function is loading 2 times. Once on the server, preparing the page, and one on the client side. Okay? It's a very key aspect of SvelteKit. So here, let's say if we have a code, so let's take this, and let's say that const code. If we have a code, that means that someone already browsed there and everything, we want to get countries, direct query, okay, and we want to give the fetch exactly. We await this, okay, and if I hit F5 and here Control S and now F5 here, I save the data. Oh, yes, of course, very good example. I need to give the variable. So here I give the fetch, but I need to give as well the variables. And the variables, we need to give the code. I save, I hit F5 here to see the server-side rendering. So we can see that there was a server-side rendering for the get continent, and the get countries query is also server-side render with the OC. And now, directly with only a F5, no GraphQL query, we have the basic query, and the second one with a parameter. Kind of nice, okay? But now we can see that when we click here, there is a lot of queries going on, and we can see that there is coming from the cache and from the network, so not that brilliant, because there is this goto and everything that we didn't clean. So I will simply remove this one and save. So now we have a goto to change the query string, and only the query string. Let's see and do F5 and see what's going on. So we are our 2 server-side render queries, no queries handled here. Let's clean here and clean here, and let's go from AF, so which was the first one, to Asia. If I click on Asia, one query from the network, refreshing the list at the bottom. I go back to AF, it's coming only from the cache and nothing more, right? And I remove actually the get query from the component directly. I'm doing the goto here, which will execute the onload function because he will see that the URL changed and re-execute here. This is a SvelteKit native behavior, so he will re-execute this, see the code, and execute the get queries country and refill our store. So quite a lot of things here. We are able to fetch some data in server side, in client side, with the cache, without cache. We have all these generated from the GQL file here. Okay, these generate the types and the stores. Okay, we have the auto-completion at this level. We have it also in the TS file as usual. We can create fragment. The fragment will get auto-completed here as well. So very powerful, the beginning. I will go a lot further later because I would like to implement the server side of GraphQL also in SvelteKit. And with Yoga, that I will do a video on later, it's quite easy to do. And I will show you this, and it's where KitQL is going. But let's do a small recap on what we saw today. Okay, so let's say that I'm someone having a cool website, of course, and there's a service where I can get the countries, which has a database or whatever. Okay, so I go on my website, and before, let's say, or originally, we had some MPAs, multi-page application, PHP, C#, Java, whatever. And basically, the customer was doing a request, and then there was a network call, another network call from the server of PHP, for example, to the service, okay, to get the data. And then it's what we call, it was server rendered. So the HTML fully loaded with data is rendered to the client. And then sometime you manage cache in the client side, okay? This was one kind. Another kind, which was very popular also, or still very popular, like React, Angular, or Vue, or even Svelte, is you have a single page application, okay? And here the idea is a bit different. You get the page, and after, from the browser, you do a query to the service through the network. And then you manage your cache also on your website. So it was one flow with server-side render before. Nowadays, or in the last days, it's more SPA. And now with SvelteKit, we have the benefit of both actually. So we can get we hit the SvelteKit server, is doing the network call directly and rendering the server-side part. Then we manage the cache as before. And after, without changing a line of code, this is the key point. Without changing a line of code, I just put it in the load and that's it. And everything is rendered like this. We can do also the network call. Okay. Somehow it's the SPA and the MPA all together in SvelteKit. And this is the power of SvelteKit itself. And KitQL is just a wrapper around all this to make things even easier with the CodeGen, with the Vite plugin to reload everything on the fly. Please try a demo and do a lot of feedback. I will be very happy to answer. See you soon. Bye-bye.